This is a story called The Most Important Meal. Mommy always said breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Even when she got sick, she made sure we had good breakfast. Something different every day. We would wake up on weekends to smell bacon or maybe sweet rolls in the oven. Even during the week, Mama made sure we at least had a bowl of cereal or oatmeal before school. We always had 4 to 5 kinds of cereal, so we could always have variation. Mama loved breakfast. Today I poured me and Joel some Cheerios in a bowl. We had that yesterday, and I wanted oatmeal or eggs, but we were out. We were out almost everything except a couple cans of soup and a couple boxes of cereal. We had cereal all day yesterday because the only soup left was split pea and some tomato soup, which we both hated. After we ate, it was Joel's turn for dishes. We went to bed so early yesterday, we slept so long, it was still dark this morning when we woke up. We tried to watch TV, but even though the power was on today, all that was on, every channel was repeating warning about staying inside and avoiding other people so you didn't get infected. Sometime the doctor guy will come on and explain that the virus was there. No medicine for it yet, but they working on it. Dad said he will be back early morning today with more food, some tools for digging. I double checked and made sure he had circled today, Tuesday on the calendar. I had crossed out Sunday, the night he left, and Monday yesterday before I went to bed to make sure I wouldn't forget. We had to get Mama to the ground today. The basement was starting to smell, so me and Joel went to go see what we could do to find something soon as it started to get light out. Dad said it was okay to borrow stuff now from people because if they were too sick to try to stop us, they weren't going to need the stuff anyway. We went down to Mr. King's house by the state road. Him and his wife will always let us have eggs from their chickens, and sometimes me and Dad would mow his lawn. I figured he wouldn't mind taking a few eggs, not especially, or maybe even some of the corn that grew. Mr. King's yard was quiet. We couldn't hear nothing, or even the chickens, but we could see him walking back and forth with a bucket to the hen house. He didn't look so good, was walking real slow, and he was all dirty. He didn't even look up at us when we walked up. He was making the same pattern over and over. He would start from his favorite perch on the top stair of his porch, legs dangling down the stairs. After a few seconds, he would stand up and walk towards the house and fill the bucket and walk to the coop and dump the bucket into the tuff, walk back and put the bucket back, and then sit back down on the step. By the time we got close, we saw him do it 6 or 7 times. He must have been doing it for a while because the whole area was thick with mud. His dog Ty was drinking out of though. He looked fully healthy. Told Joe I guess I knew where the chickens went. Up close I could see him all sick, like Mom had been, thin because he had forgotten to eat, tired like Mom because he had started doing something and never remembered to stop. He wouldn't stop it till he died. Now I looked at Joel and he was staring at Mrs. King on the porch. She had fallen out of her chair. Looks like she was knitting a blanket when she started forgetting. Part of her arms was red and bloody. Joel threw up and said, "Was it the chickens keeping the dog fat?" I yelled at Mr. King to stop and help his wife. He didn't look at me. Ty growled, though. Ty never growled at people. Mr. King said strangers come in and steal TVs and Ty would be happy to see them and sad to see them leave. Joel and I decided to go. Around the corner on the state road, there were a couple more houses. Our little road was a gravel and kind of hard to see if you didn't know it was there, so people left us alone. On the big road, though, you could see all the houses were standing open. Dad said people looted even all the way out here because they panicked when the president came on the TV the 3rd time. The first time the president came on, he said the virus was kind of that old-timer disease where you would start to forget things, and then when it got worse, you would only want to do things. He said scientists didn't know where to start, but we're working on a cure. The second time he came on, he said that it was important to be calm and try to limit contact with other people so it didn't spread. That's when the news started showing the first rots and the riots and all the stuff that started to happen after that. The last time he came on, he said something about America being great and scientists were still working on it and God have mercy on our souls. Then they stopped showing anything on the TV except for the warnings. The big house closet to the corner was where the richest family in the town lived. They had been rich because they owned 3 cars and all worked just fine. They owned the gas station and were the only people that really owned anything in the town besides their house. They were the first to leave in their big truck when the president made his announcement. The dad stopped at all the houses and told everyone if they were smart they would go too. They had twins engraved behind me, so I was kind of sad to see them go, and I hoped they would be back. Now, I didn't think they would. They had just left everything and gone. Dad had stopped there to borrow one of their cars when he left some tools for food because our car didn't work most of the time anyway. They still had a car left in the driveway. Joel said we should borrow it and try to drive to Uncle Gary's. I told him I'm 11 and he's younger than me. We can't drive anyway except on video games. He said it would be like a video game. If we crashed a little, no one would care, and there's no one out on the roads now anyway. But he didn't want to go in the house and try to find keys though. Their house looked big and empty, just wrong. Wasn't going in there, maybe tomorrow though. If Dad wasn't back, we should have to. The only store in town was a gas station. And we knew from looking the day Dad left that nothing was there. Looters had taken all the pop, canned goods, and some genius even left the fridge door open so the milk and stuff was all way beyond bad. Couple canned soup we did have at the time. We scrounged from the back into somewhere else in empty boxes. Split pea tomatoes were starting not to sound so bad after all. I wonder what they would taste like if mixed together. We tried the phone behind the counter again. There was still no dial tone, but no matter what number we called, no one ever answered. We tried Uncle Gary and Grandma. We tried picking out numbers in the phone book, making up numbers, even 911. No one ever answered anymore except maybe an answer machine. We didn't know what else to do. Outside, we started hearing clicking and scraping that sound kind of soft and kind of off far. We peeked out the window and saw someone hiking. He was walking really slow with a big lump. He had one of those fancy backpacks and walking sticks, just walking down the middle of the road. It looked like he had twisted his ankle. It was all bent, and he was walking, a big uneven limp. The bottom of his foot was even touching the ground. He was walking on his ankle, and it was ground down and bloody looking, but he kept on walking like he didn't hurt him at all. Like he had forgotten how it hurt or something, or how to stop walking. We hid and watched him go by. He didn't even look right or left, just walking. We didn't move until he was far away and we didn't see him anymore. It was just definitely past noon by now, and Dad still hadn't come back. We were scared but didn't want to admit it to each other, that we knew something was wrong. Maybe Dad started forgetting and just kept driving. Maybe looters took his car. Maybe something else bad happened to Dad. We didn't say anything, just ran back home, locked the doors. It was early, but maybe if we went to sleep now, we would wake up tomorrow and Dad would be home. Mama said breakfast was the most important meal of the day. Even when she got sick, she made sure we had good breakfast and something different every day. We would wake up on the weekends to the smell of bacon or maybe sweet rolls in the oven. Even during the weekend, Mom always made sure at least we had a bowl of cereal, oatmeal before school. We always had 4 or 5 kinds of cereal, so we could always have variations. Mama loved breakfast. Today I poured me and Joel some Cheerios in a bowl. We had that yesterday. I wanted oatmeal or eggs, but we were out. We were out almost everything except a couple cans of soup and a couple boxes of cereal. We had the cereal all day yesterday because the only soup left was sweet peas and tomato soup. We both hated it. After we ate it, Joel's turn for the dishes. We went to bed early yesterday. We slept so long, it was still dark this morning. We tried to watch TV, but even the power was on today. All that was on every channel was repeating warning about staying inside and avoiding other people, so we didn't get infected. Sometime the doctor guy will come on and explain that the virus was there with no medicine for it, but they were working on it. We had to get Mama in the ground today. The basement was starting to smell pretty bad. Dad said he would be back early today with more food and some tools for digging. I double checked and had a circle today, Tuesday on the calendar. I had crossed out Sunday night and he left, and Monday yesterday before I went to bed to make sure I wouldn't forget. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more I upload, and we all appreciate you from this channel of Bedtime Pasta.